Hey guys, and welcome back for another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this really sweet peekaboo pleat zipper pouch. In this video I'll be showing you how to make a simple zipper pouch, but you can totally apply this panel to other zipper pouches. I will leave links for other pouches you can add this panel to down below, and I will also have all the measurements and materials that you need for this tutorial over at the blog post, which will also be linked below, as well as the information icon in the top right hand corner of this video. So I'm just going to do a little overview of the pieces that you need. Now this can get a little confusing if this is your first time making something like this, so I'm just going to show you right now all the pieces you need for one side of the zipper pouch. So as you can see, the pleated part is longer than the top band because once you fold it all up, then it's going to be the same size. And then of course I took all those pieces and then I doubled up. Because there's so many pieces for this zipper pouch, it can get a little confusing, so I definitely suggest going over to the blog post and then you can just write down all the measurements straight from there. So I'm going to work on 1/2 of our zipper pouch, so one panel, and these are the pieces that you're going to need. The two outer pieces are larger than the two center pattern pieces, and then of course the pink ones are all the same size. The first thing I'm going to do is lay out my pattern as you see, and then I'm going to take the part that's going to be pleated, which is the pink pieces, and I'm just going to lay those with the right sides together on the first 3 pieces. So the last piece is kind of just leave that to the side, and this is just a lot easier and it'll go a lot faster instead of doing one piece at a time. So we're sort of doing a little quilted chain here. So we'll just take those pieces and just feed those into the machine one after the other. And then after, you're going to take it out and then you'll press all of those seams. So as you see, we still have that 4th piece that we haven't sewn on yet, but now we're just going to sew all the rest together in a line. So I'm just pressing those seams. You don't necessarily have to, because later on you will be just pressing them again to create your pleats, but just so that you can see exactly what I'm doing, I figured I would press it for you. So now I'm just going to, like I said, put them all together, making sure all your fabric is right sides together, and we're always using 1/4 inch seam allowance, sort of like quilting. And then we're making sure that our fabric is going from print to a solid, or whatever you want to do. You can of course make it solid on the outside and have patterned pieces on the inside of your pleats. It's totally up to you. And then that last piece that wasn't sewn to anything will go right on the end. So hopefully that makes sense. It's a little confusing, but hopefully visually you guys can understand what's going on. And like I said, I will have photos showing you how to do everything at the blog post if you need to really look at it, if this, if I'm going a little too fast. So next I'm going to use a ruler. Now this is optional, but this just makes things a little bit easier. I'm just going to draw a line in the center of my pleat, and this is just a guide for when I go and do my folding. So I'm just using some chalk just so that it disappears eventually. And then I will start to create my pleats. You're going to fold your fabric in to line up that line. And you're going to try to hide that pink fabric as much as you can, because you want it to be peeking through. So if you can fold your pleats so that it almost looks like the patterned print sort of continues on, then that's ideal, so that when the bag sort of slits open, then you can see that little peekaboo. So as you can see, you pretty much can't see the pink anymore. And I'm just going to press that down, and then we'll do that for the rest of our pleats. So we're going to have 3 pleats total. you are only folding that inner pleat, so you're not folding your outer pattern fabric. So you're just basically bringing those seams to the center. So this is how it's going to look. Of course, it doesn't really want to stay folded. So from here, I'm actually just going to take it to the sewing machine and just tack all of my pleats. That'll just make things a lot easier when you go to create the zipper pouch. So I'm just going to do a quick stitch right over that seam there, and then as you can see now it's not going anywhere. And then I'll just do the rest. Now I am working only on one panel, but off camera I am working on the second panel also. So let me know in the comments if you have ever done a peekaboo pleat before. If you do decide to make this bag, I would love to see it, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, which is also linked in the description box below this video. So as you can see, I have both of my pleated portions done. And then we can work on putting the long rectangle piece of fabric at the top of this pleated portion. So we're just going to lay that with the right sides down on the top of our pleat. If you do have a directional fabric, then of course you want to just be mindful as you're doing this project that you don't end up with a piece that's going upside down. So this rectangle piece is at the top of our zipper pouch. So again, I'm going to do 1/4 inch seam allowance right along that top. And this fabric is a little bit long, but that's okay. It just depends on your seam allowance, so it might not be perfect, but we're going to square up this piece when we're finished. So after I did that seam, I just opened up that fabric and I'm going to do a top stitch right along that edge. Now my lining actually only measures the size of this finished panel, but if you wanted it to expand with the pleats, then you could actually take this panel, make it 2 more times, and use that as your lining. So I'm just going to take my zipper with the zipper pull down, put it on the top of my outer fabric, and then sandwich it with the lining, making sure your fabrics are right sides together. And then I'm just going to use my zipper foot to sew down the edge of the zipper. If you've never worked with a zipper foot before, I will leave a link in the information icon for my zipper foot tutorial or how to use it video. And then I'm going to flip my fabric and then just do a top stitch again along that edge. Making sure you pull your fabric nice and tight. And of course, it is always important to do these top stitches next to your zipper because it just helps your fabric not get caught in your zipper when you're using it. So the last piece, the last panel, we're just going to place that on top and then put the other piece of lining on the back, making sure that zipper pull is facing the outer fabric. So along that edge, my finger was totally off there. You know what I mean. And then again, doing that top stitch. So here is the almost finished bag. I'm going to put the right sides of the lining and the right sides of the outer fabric together. If you want to try to line up your pleats, you can just put a pin in it. I actually did quite well. I was surprised at how well they lined up. And I'm just going to place some pins in other areas so there's no shifting. Like I said, I'm just making a regular like pencil case type deal. You could actually box the bottom of this bag too, but I didn't add any interfacing. So if I would have done that, then it would have been a kind of flimsy one. So if you want to add some interfacing to the back of your lining, I wouldn't obviously suggest putting interfacing on the back of your pleated panel because then I don't think your pleats would function if you did that. Pretty sure. So now I'm just sewing all the way around, making sure you push that zipper pull in and you don't, sew it off or cut it off. And then I'm leaving a 3 or 4 inch gap in the lining. And now I will again struggle with opening the zipper from the inside out. I don't know why I do this to myself. And then I'm just going to turn the whole bag right side out. I'm just poking my corners to make sure everything is nice and sharp. And then this is how it is looking. So I'm just going to take that lining back out, and I will just sort of pull on the little gap there. It's going to cause those raw edges to roll in, and then we're just going to do a top stitch right there to close up that hole. And then you're just going to tuck that back in your bag, and then you're done. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. Hopefully you learned a new technique and you can apply a peekaboo pleat to some of your own projects. Like I said, it was a regular, zipper pouch tutorial, but if you've never done this before, then, you can just use your imagination and see what you come up with. So if you do make any zipper pouch or any project with peekaboo pleats, I would love to see them. So definitely go over to the Instagram and Facebook and share your photos. I love to see them, and I love to share them with the community because everyone just feeds off the inspiration. They just love to see everyone's work of art. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye guys!